So I have not withdrawn my questions.
This is what I've been informed by the clerk, so I go according to the instruction given to me by the clerk of the Assembly. So we now proceed with the accused, the Honourable Second Member for Woodring.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. B149.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I wish to inform the House that my ministry had adopted a comprehensive approach to strengthening the cancer care ecosystem. This includes enhancing primary healthcare services, improving early detection, expanding access to treatment, and providing supportive care. The National Cancer Centre, inaugurated in 2024, is at the forefront of cancer care in the country. This 200-bed facility offers comprehensive services including radiotherapy, chemotherapy, imaging, surgery, and palliative care. The centre provides modern radiotherapy treatments such as three-dimensional conformal radiotherapy and the installation of high-dose rate HDR brachytherapy is currently underway. The radiology unit is fully equipped with X-ray, CT scan, MRI, echography, cardiac imaging, fluoroscopy, and mammography machines. Additionally, a nuclear medicine unit has been established with PET-CT and SPECT-CT equipment, with PET-CT awaiting commissioning that is not yet operational. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, chemotherapy services are being delivered in a patient-friendly environment with approximately 70 patients receiving chemotherapy daily. Since 2025, chemotherapy services have been decentralized to the 5 regional hospitals, ensuring greater access for patients across the country. Efforts are also in progress to approve and introduce new chemotherapeutic agents to expand the range of available treatment options. In the field of surgical oncology, the National Cancer Centre has 4 fully equipped operating theatres with regular visits from foreign experts in surgical oncology to enhance the quality of care. The visits also serve in training of our healthcare professionals to identify early signs of cancer, allowing for timely referrals to specialists and improving the likelihood of successful treatment. In addition, basic laboratory investigations are available at the centre to support diagnosis and treatment decisions, and the pharmacy operates until 22 hours daily to ensure that patients have access to essential medications. The hospital formulary is also regularly updated to include the latest chemotherapeutic agents, ensuring that patients have access to the most effective treatments available. It is important to note that cancer prevention education has also been integrated into school curricula, and community outreach programs are being carried out to raise awareness, reduce stigma, and encourage early intervention. As part of prevention strategy, the human papilloma virus (HPV) vaccination program for boys and girls aged 9 to 14 years is being prioritized. Furthermore, nationwide screening programs such as Caravan de Santé initiative are being rolled out to promote early detection of cancers like breast and cervical cancer. Health professionals are conducting regular mammography sessions and clinical examinations to ensure that cancers are identified at an early stage, leading to better treatment outcomes. My ministry has also taken significant steps to improve palliative and psychosocial care, including mental health counseling for cancer patients. In addition to hospital-based palliative care, home-based care models are being envisaged with the aim to alleviate the burden on hospitals and provide patients with comfort of receiving care at home. This integrated approach reflects the government's commitment to providing comprehensive cancer care, from prevention and early detection to treatment and support, ensuring that every individual has access to high-quality care throughout their cancer journey. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, with regard to Part B of the question, I'm informed that according to National Cancer Registry Report 2023, cancer accounted for 13.1% of all deaths in the Republic of Mauritius. With regard to Part C of the question, I'm informed that the 5 most common cancer sites in Mauritius for men are prostate, colorectal, lung, mouth, and pharynx, and stomach. I am further informed that for women, the 5 most common cancer sites are breast, colorectal, corpus uteri, ovary, and cervix uteri.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. Thank the Honourable Minister for his answer. Well, we are not doctors. May I ask the Honourable Minister whether his ministry is planning to implement over advanced diagnostic for cancer, like using AI or molecular diagnostic, advanced?
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, we have just started, and I can assure the Honourable Member that everything is being done to make use of the most modern, sophisticated equipments which may be available outside Mauritius.
Just a last supplementary. Is there any statistics on the survival rate for cancer patients in our Republic? Survival rate?
I don't have that information with me right now.
Honourable First Member for Port Vino and Mont Island.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. B150.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I would like to thank the Honourable First Member for Portrush North and Mont Island for this question. I wish to inform the House that presently there are 64 public schools in Mauritius that provide facilities to some 225 children with autism. With regard to Part A of the question, I'm informed that the 225 children with autism who attend these 64 public schools are between the age of 5 years to 20 years old. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, as regard to Part B of the question, I'm informed that the logistic supports that are being provided to children with special needs, including children with autism, are as follows. 1. Payments of grants in aids to NGOs and RCEAs registered with the Special Education Needs Authority, SENA, to cover the following items. A. Salary of managers, teachers, assistant teachers, carers, handy workers, and drivers. B. Per capita expenditure, which include basic grant, teaching aids, and other school requirements, utilities, furniture, and equipment for specialist support services. C. Hot meals. And D. Special support services, occupational, speech, and physiotherapists on sessional basis. 2. Transport facilities for the pickup and drop-off of the children are provided by my ministry, free of charge for those attending the SENRDCs. Children attending the SENIU are given free bus pass to attend schools. Refund of bus fares is also provided by the Ministry of Social Integration, Social Security, and National Solidarity to parents who accompany their children to specialized schools, integrated units, and mainstream schools. 3. Provision of occupational, speech, and physiotherapy services to children who attend the SENIU, SENRDC, primary and secondary schools. 4. Provision of ICT classes and the Sankoré program. 5th, children with severe autism and orthopedic impairments are entitled to 100% excise duty concession on motor vehicle by the Ministry of Social Integration, Social Security, and National Solidarity. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, allow me to pay tribute to one and all who are daily involved in looking after our children with autism, be it at home or at school. With your permission, I am tabling details of the specialized institutions, NGOs, SENRDC, SENIU, and RCEA catering for children with autism in Mauritius. As regards children with autism who attend public primary and secondary schools, they are accommodated in the mainstream inclusive setup and are provided with the services of assistant teachers and carers for their daily learning support and living skills, respectively. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. Will the Honourable Minister state the current protocols and frameworks in place for the assessment and diagnosis of learners with autism spectrum disorder, ASD in Mauritius, including the role of educational and paramedical professionals in the process? Thank you.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I will come with an elaborate answer for this particular question. Thank you.
Yes, Honourable Rato.
Mr. Speaker, as the Minister is aware, for this type of school, we have also private school. Either Minister indicates the House is the same logistic and control and facilities being given by his ministry to those private schools.
Definitely, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the same provision because we treat all our children on the same footing.
Honourable members, before we proceed, I've been informed by the acting clerk that there has been a misunderstanding regarding the withdrawal of the question of Honourable Rukni. So the question is back on the roll. Honourable second member for Belrose and Cadbourne.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Vice-président. B 151.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I wish to thank the honourable member to give me the opportunity to shed light on the status of the drain project at La Louise. The region of La Louise has often been subjected to flooding in the past years and has been declared as a high-risk flood-prone area by the Land Drainage Authority. With a view to addressing the flooding issues holistically in the region of La Louise and mitigating the incidence of flooding thereat, I am informed by the NDU that a contract for consultancy services for the design, supervision and management for flood mitigation measures in the region of La Louise, La Source and Candos, Quatre-Bonnes, was awarded to Vias Consulting Engineer Limited on 15 November 2023. With regard to part A of the question, I am informed that the detailed design report has not yet been finalized due to the complexity of the project and the site conditions. In fact, the region of La Louise is densely populated with both residential and commercial buildings and an extensive network of underground services such as the sewer lines, the CWA pipes and the empty lines. These services would need to be relocated during the implementation. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I am informed that the consultant has highlighted the absence of a nearby outlet at La Louise, which would result in the construction of a drain network over a longer stretch with a discharge point at River Rempart in order to mitigate the flooding problem thereat. Moreover, Vias Consulting Engineers Limited has also conveyed that there is no room for upgrading works on the existing water course, namely Canal Nélan, which is under capacity and is obstructed with construction of around 200 houses. Canal Nélan passes through several private premises and there is no visibility on its structure. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I am further informed that the consultant is working on a master plan for the whole region, which, amongst others, would require the construction of 10 kilometers of drain. The whole project is expected to cost some 5.6 billion rupees. However, the consultant has proposed the implementation of the critical part along La Louise, comprising the construction of 2 kilometers of drains along Lal Bahadur Shastri Street, Candos Road, Nehru Road, and Phoenix Beauchamps Road, up to the outlet at River Rempart, which would also include the construction of drain of 11 meter deep at some locations over a length of 300 meters. This is expected to cost some 1.3 billion. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, due to the high risk and cost of the project, it is warranted that a geotechnical investigation be carried out with exploratory works to finalize the detailed design report with a view to, first, confirming the feasibility of the project, second, validating the methodology for excavation, and third, identifying the buried services and the soil strata. I am informed that the draft bidding document for the geotechnical investigation and exploratory works is being prepared, and the report is expected by the end of August 2025. Thereafter, the detailed design report is expected to be finalized by mid of October 2025. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, with regard to Part B of the question, I am not in a position to confirm the dates for the implementation of the project at this point in time, as we shall await the finalization of the detailed design report in the first instance. However, I wish to inform the Honourable Member that I have requested the NDU to closely monitor the situation and expedite matter for an early implementation.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Vice-président. Ce problème d'inondation perdure depuis plus de 10 ans dans la région de la Louise. Could the Minister inform the House what interim measures, if any, have been put in place to mitigate flooding in the area of La Louise? Thank you.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, so far, unfortunately, no mitigating measures, short-term, have been implemented. However, regarding the situation and the complexity of the work and the cost implication, what we are proposing is that we can propose some short-term temporary measures depending on the geotechnical investigation that will be carried out. And the short-term temporary measures will include the construction of an absorption drain and gravity drain up to a quarry in La Source. There is a quarry in La Source. We can consider the possibility of short-term absorption drain and gravity drain. The temporary and short-term measures, we must understand it will not solve the problem. It will solve it around 50%. And water accumulation flood will still occur, but to a lower level. And these short-term measures, if we implement it, will cost 500 million rupees as temporary measures.
Please, another one, the last one, please. Monsieur le Vice-président, à chaque forte pluie, les habitants de la Louise, les commerçants, les taximens, les collégiens vivent dans une grande angoisse. Face à cette détresse grandissante, est-ce que le ministre accepterait-il de se rendre sur place afin de constater l'ampleur du problème aux côtés des habitants? Et s'il vous plaît, merci.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, obviously I will have no objection. I will be more glad than to have a site visit together with the members of the constituency.
Don't forget me as well.
Equally the Deputy Speaker. I will have no objection to have a site visit. But we must understand, as I said it, the cost of the whole project is high, 5.6 billion. And when we are talking about the outlet, unfortunately there is no outlet. The outlet will be at Bossons. This is what we call River Rampart. So the drain will have to start from La Louise to go over a stretch of nearly 10 kilometers, as I said. So I will be happy to come for a site visit and we can explain to the people there.
Your second question, or second member for Belrose, B15. Is that true? No, we go to B152, which is back on the road.
B152, Mr. Speaker.
Monsieur le Président, j'ai été informé de l'état déplorable de nos routes mentionnées par l'honorable membre à Triolet et à Baie du Tombeau. Il convient de souligner que le revêtement temporaire d'un tronçon de 620 mètres a déjà été réalisé au chemin Macadam à Baie du Tombeau. Pour la la partie A et B de la question, la CWA m'a informé que le coût estimé pour la réintégration permanente du chemin va coûter environ 2 millions de roupies et que la durée des travaux sera d'environ 2 semaines. Quant à la route de Trio à Triolet, d'une longueur d'environ 900 mètres, j'ai été informé que la ADA procédera à sa réfection permanente pour un coût estimé à 7 millions de roupies. Les travaux ont débuté le 17 mars 2025 et devraient s'achever le 31 mars 2025. Monsieur le Président, j'ai été informé que la CWA avait lancé un appel d'offres pour la réfection permanente de plusieurs routes dans le Nord. Cependant, je dois préciser que l'appel d'offres ne peut pas être attribué. La CWA n'ayant pas respecté le management de la CWA, je vais dire avant les élections, n'ayant pas respecté les procédures de passation du marché public dans la gestion de ce projet. C'est avec consternation que j'ai appris de la direction de la CWA, enfin de ce qu'il reste, comment les projets de remplacement des tuyaux ont été mis en œuvre à la CWA. Le budget 2024-2025 prévoit une dotation d'une valeur d'1 milliard de roupies sur 3 exercices financiers pour financer des travaux de remplacement des tuyaux de la CWA de 1 km à 3 km. Et ça s'applique pour toutes les régions du pays. Donc, l'entrepreneur, ce PME éventuel, à entreprendre les travaux suivants. Donc, l'approvisionnement en tuyaux et raccords, des pipes and fittings, dans ce projet, l'attribution des contrats à des petites et moyennes entreprises, donc la CWA qui donne, et la remise en état de la route, de ce que l'honorable membre parle ici. Cependant, au lieu d'étaler cette dotation d'1 milliard de roupies sur 3 exercices financiers comme prévu dans le budget 2024-2025, je suis informé que la CWA a émis en 2024, l'année dernière, des contrats d'une valeur supérieure à 1,5 milliard de roupies pour ce projet. Ce qui est contraire aux dispositions de la loi sur le marché public. Il va sans dire, Monsieur le Président, que des centaines de millions de roupies de contrats ont été alloués juste à la veille des dernières élections générales. Donc, en 2 mois, 1 mois des élections générales, des millions de roupies de contrats ont été alloués sur papier sans qu'on respecte ce barème d'1 milliard de roupies. Donc, dans l'état actuel des choses, l'appel d'offres, Monsieur le Président, Monsieur le député, lancé par la CWA pour refaire le revêtement de ce que vous voulez, d'un certain nombre de routes dans le Nord, dont votre question, ne pourra pas être attribué en raison de l'irrégularité subventionnée. Mon ministère devra maintenant s'adresser au ministère des Finances pour demander une augmentation du montant du projet et obtenir l'approbation du gouvernement pour un montant revisé dorénavant de 1,595 milliard de roupies, qui a été déjà alloué. Les contrats sont sortis, conformément aux procédures applicables au projet d'investissement. Ce n'est qu'à ce moment-là que l'appel d'offres pour la remise en état de la route pourra être attribué et que les paiements en attente, je dis bien que les paiements en attente aux fournisseurs et aux petites et moyennes entreprises pourront être effectués.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, considering the suffering of my constituents that have arisen mainly because of this major irregularity, can we obtain from the Minister if actions will be taken against those who have caused this situation?
Monsieur le Président, et certainement, il y aura, les gens responsables de cela auront à répondre. Mais, Monsieur le Président, la difficulté du moment, ma difficulté du moment, Monsieur le Président, est que tous ceux qui ont la responsabilité de me donner des renseignements et des informations sur votre question ont été des proches, collaborateurs, sinon des complices de l'ancien directeur général, M. Prakash Mantora. C'est ça mon souci ici. Et c'est même personnes aujourd'hui, ces officiers, j'ai les noms, 7 officiers en particulier, et les grades, ont été impliqués ou ont été partie prenante dans diverses décisions et pratiques de ce qu'on parle aujourd'hui, sautant d'1 milliard de roupies pour arriver à 1 milliard 595 millions de roupies, sans passer par des appels d'offres. Vous savez, c'est très important de faire comprendre que ce qui s'est passé dans le temps. Il y avait ce projet de 700 millions de roupies de Pipe Replacement Programme que je parle à chaque fois et qui est entre les mains de la Financial Crime Commission à l'heure où je vous parle. Ce qui s'est passé, c'est que l'ancien directeur général donnait des instructions, pas écrites, verbales, donc des menaces. Ceci dit, il fallait à tout prix respecter ce seuil de 10 millions de roupies. De 10 millions de roupies pour chaque projet. Donc si nous avons 700 millions de roupies de projet, il va diviser en 70 projets, mon mathématique est bon, 70 projets de 10 millions de roupies pour pouvoir éviter le Central Procurement Board, éviter les appels d'offres et donner directement. C'est pour cette raison qu'on se retrouve aujourd'hui dans cette situation et il me faut aller demander une révision de ce barème au ministère des Finances, au gouvernement, pour que nous puissions compléter ce projet.
Second member for Belrose Cadbon.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Vice-président. B153. Merci.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I am informed that my ministry enlisted the services of a consultant in 2019 to develop design standards for the integration of cyclists as a means of commuting in Mauritius and proposing a detailed cycling network plan for 4 specific regions, including Rose Hill, which is the subject of the question. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, as regard Part A of the question, I am informed that the scope of works for the project comprises a total of 6.1 kilometers of cycle network covering the areas of Eben to Rose Hill and Balfour to Beaubassin metro station as follows. Number 1, 1.55 kilometers of segregated cycle track from Eben Gymnasium till Eben Recreational Park through Mont-Saint-Mont Eben and linking École Hôtelière and MITD Eben with the network. Number 2, 1 kilometer of segregated cycle track from Eben Metro Station till Eben Recreational Park and linking residential zones of Eben Cyber Village and Mont-Saint-Mont Obujumon with the network. Number 3.95 kilometers of segregated cycle track from Eben Recreational Park to Rose Hill Metro Station and Place Morgeo. Number 4, 0.1 kilometer of segregated cycle track from Place Morgeo to Loreto College. Number 5.35 kilometers of cycle street from Loreto College to Notre-Dame-de-Lourdes Church. Number 6.95 kilometers of cycle lane from Notre-Dame-de-Lourdes Church to Montmartre Church, Municipality of Beaubassin, Rose Hill, Plaza, St. Mary College, and lastly, number 7, 1.2 kilometers of cycle street from Balfour Garden till Beaubassin Metro Station and Sacré-Cœur Church. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the infrastructure for the cycle network also included 78 cycle racks installed at 7 key locations, road markings and traffic signs. The total cost of the project amounted to 63 million rupees, 435,715.16 inclusive of VAT. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, as regards Part B of the question, I wish to inform the House that the cycle network is not yet operational. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, cycling is an eco-friendly mode of transportation and it is integrated with the public transport network in many countries. In fact, it has been announced in this government program 2025-2029 that cycling infrastructure would also be developed into the country's largest strategy mobility. In fact, making cycling safe is one of the motto of the UN these days. Thank you.
Yes,
Monsieur le Président, pour être honnête avec vous, je suis abasourdi. Je suis abasourdi quand je vois la somme qui a été dépensée, 63 millions, pour un projet qui ne bénéficie à personne. Enfin. Alors, would the minister inform the House whether the bike lane has been gazetted and incorporated into the Road Traffic Act? Please, thank you.
Okay, sir, this is a very pertinent question. The contract was awarded on 8 December 2022 and was completed on 15 November 2024, 1 week before I became minister. I wish to inform the House, and on a note of concern, that no appropriate regulations under the Road Traffic Act have been made so far. So, the priority of those implementing the project was to implement the project for 63 million rupees, but the legal part was not done. So, we are working on it now, and once this is done, hopefully soon, then we can start sensitizing the public to use it, if the regulations are approved. I cannot take it on me right now, but if they are approved, then it will be this way.
Monsieur le Président, je vous remercie, Monsieur le Vice-président. Franchement, vous dire, c'est scandaleux. Scandaleux. Je voudrais, s'il vous plaît, déposer 2 photos. D'accord? Une première à l'Assemblée nationale, sur la table de l'Assemblée nationale, concernant ce fameux bike lane à Eben. Okay? À peine 2 ans, et la peinture verte qui est déjà partie. Et ensuite, Rosil, derrière le collège Sainte-Mérise, 2 lanes. Au lieu de faciliter la circulation, ces 2 lanes sont venus rétrécir la route et du coup, et en plus, les automobilistes ne peuvent même pas utiliser la partie verte vu que c'est pas gazetted, ils auront une offense, etc. Alors, Monsieur le Vice-président, le ministre pourrait-il indiquer à la Chambre le coût de cette peinture verte? Ça m'intéresse, ok? Au mètre carré, ça m'intéresse. Et au vu aussi de ce qu'on a entendu, est-ce qu'il envisage d'ouvrir une enquête pour déterminer si des commissions ont été versées, ok? Et si tel est le cas, si le rapport sera soumis à la FCC. Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Vice-président.
Yes, fortunately, I brought the bill of quantities together with me. So, Mr. Speaker, Deputy Speaker, sir, the painting that the honourable member is referring to, and which is faded away, costed taxpayers 1,632 rupees per meter square. Much more expensive than bitumen of 50 millimeters thick, which costed 922 rupees. So I'm quite baffled by the photo that you are showing that painting are being washed away with great facility. So the point is taken, an inquiry will be done on this. I can table since the member is interested, I can table a copy of the bill of quantities.
Okay, thank you. The Honourable Third Member for Port East North and Mount Island.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. PQ B154, please.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I'm informed that the District Council of Pamplemousse had on 29 September 2023 appointed Gas Consulting Engineer Limited as consultant for the new morcellement at Mamzelle. It had to conduct an assessment and propose a holistic flood mitigation plan instead of adopting a piecemeal approach. Thereafter, the consultant submitted an initial report in December 2023 and a finalized report in November 2024. The proposed scope of works at Mamzelle comprises the following: the construction of a reinforced concrete collector drain measuring 700 millimeter wide by 700 millimeter deep along Mamzelle Street with metal gratings at 3 meters interval over a length of 100 meters, and the construction of a reinforced concrete collector drain measuring 1,000 millimeter wide by 1,000 millimeter deep, discharging into the natural drain towards River Tambo over a stretch of 105 meters. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I'm further informed that the District Council of Pamplemousses will proceed in a first instance with the construction of the 100 meters of drain. Bidding documents are under preparation. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, as regard Part B of the question, I am informed that once financial clearance is obtained, the District Council of Pamplemousses will be able to start the work by end of May 2025. Project duration has been proposed to be 3 months.
The Honourable Third Member for Bobassa Kachikidya.
Deputy Speaker, sir, I wish to inform the House that the procedures adopted in the event of a cyclonic and torrential rains are spelled out in the National Disaster Scheme 2015. And my ministry is responsible for the opening and manning of evacuee centres during these events. Evacuee centres are open either when a cyclone warning clause 3 is issued by the Mauritius Meteorological Services or following a request from the National Emergency Operations Command, NEOC, in the event of torrential rain, flooding, or any other national disasters. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed that for cyclonic season 2024-2025, 166 evacuee centres have been finalised across the island. For the recent passage of the cyclone Garance, all the 166 evacuee centres have been supplied with basic necessities such as bottled water, biscuits, baked beans, and yoga mats. In addition, the new government has also included canned tuna in the latest food pack. All the evacuee centres fall under the purview of the Ministry of Gender, Equality and Family Welfare and the local authorities. Before finalising the list, an assessment of each of these centres is carried out by my ministry in collaboration with the appropriate stakeholders to ensure their suitability to be used as evacuee centres. My ministry employs on needs and ad hoc basis 3 officers, namely a supervisor, an assistant supervisor, and a caretaker to operate each of the evacuee centres. The list of evacuee centres, together with the list of staffing, are updated yearly prior to the start of cyclonic season. The present list was established under the previous government. After the present cyclonic season, this list might be reviewed. In the public interest, I am tabling in the National Assembly the full list of evacuee centres for the benefit of the public. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, with regard to Part A of the question, though evacuee centres are not classified constituency-wise, I am nevertheless informed that there are 8 evacuee centres in constituency number 20, Beaubassin and Petite Rivière, namely Montroche Social Welfare Centre, Barclay Community Centre, Colonel Mingard Community Centre, Coromandel Community Centre, Petite Rivière Social Welfare Centre, Albion Community Centre, Gros Caillou Community Centre, and 8 Canot Community Centre. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, with regard to Part B of the question, I am informed that arrangements for the transportation of refugees to these centres are made as and when required by the police through the NEOC to ensure safety during national disasters time. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir.
Yes.
Président, je remercie l'honorable ministre pour sa réponse. Dans la liste qui avait été circulée au niveau du public lors du passage du dernier cyclone, par rapport à la circonscription numéro 20, d'après cette liste, je n'ai constaté que 4 centres de refuge. Et là, l'honorable ministre parle de 8. Peut-être qu'il y a eu un malentendu quelque part. Je suis en train de dire que l'honorable ministre ne dit pas la vérité. Mais je pense qu'il y a eu probablement une erreur au niveau de la liste qui avait été circulée pour la circonscription numéro 20, ou uniquement la partie rurale. La partie rurale, je parle de Canotte, Gros-Caillou, Petite-Rivière et Albion. Au niveau de cette partie de la circonscription, uniquement, il y avait des centres de refuge. Donc, l'honorable ministre conviendra que il faudrait, je pense, quand on circule une liste, qu'on s'assure effectivement que ce soit la bonne liste avec tous les centres qui englobent toute la circonscription. Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you. The list circulated mentioned, the list I am tabling in the National Assembly mentioned the 8 centers. I am not aware of the list that you have mentioned, but I can confirm to the House that in constituency number 20, there are 8 evacuee centers.
Honorable Third Member for Parlement here.
B156, Deputy Speaker, sir.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, upon receipt of an alleged case of medical negligence within the public health institutions, my ministry initiates the necessary action to refer the case to Medical Council of Mauritius for an in-depth investigation. I wish to inform the House that my ministry has referred 155 alleged cases of medical negligence registered within the public health institution to Medical Council of Mauritius for the period of January 2020 to date. Out of these 155 cases, 140 cases have been investigated and 15 are awaiting investigation. Of the 140 investigations initiated at the level of Medical Council of Mauritius, 130 cases have been put aside and 10 cases have been referred to Medical Disciplinary Tribunal. Regarding the 10 cases referred to the Medical Disciplinary Tribunal, 4 cases have been referred to the Public Service Commission for inflicting sanctions, while 5 cases are still under investigation and 1 has been withdrawn. With regard to Part B of the question, the sanctions that were imposed in confirmed cases of medical negligence are in accordance with Section 46E, Part 5 of Public Service Commission's regulations. I wish to inform that the sanctions taken depends on the severity of the case, and I am also informed that 1 medical practitioner has been interdicted so far. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I must confess that I am not satisfied at all with the way complaints have been dealt with so far. At times, complainants have had to wait for years to know the outcome of inquiries. This is the reason for which my ministry is revamping the procedures for investigating cases of alleged medical negligence within our public health institutions. These new procedures have been designed to streamline investigations, ensure greater accountability, and ultimately enhance patient safety across our healthcare system. There is now a preliminary investigation at the level of regional health hospitals for each case of suspected medical negligence to ascertain the facts and determine whether an appropriate course of action is taken. In addition, a medical negligence board is being set up within the ministry. The medical negligence board may call any officer concerned and the complainant or complainants for further explanations if required, and eventually submit a report to the acting senior chief executive of my ministry with its recommendations for further actions. Moreover, the implementation of clinical auditing is being planned with the setting up of a clinical audit committee in each specialty chaired by the relevant consultant in charge. The committee will identify key areas for auditing, collect and analyze relevant data, and compare the findings against established clinical guidelines and best practices. The ministry has also introduced a weekly mortality meeting, which is chaired by the regional health director in each hospital. These meetings involve relevant consultants and are dedicated to scrutinize all deaths within the hospital. The primary aim is to identify any preventable causes and ensure that there are no lapses in care. To complement these measures, the Medical Council Act will also be amended to further streamline and expedite the procedures for dealing with cases of alleged medical negligence. This will ensure that investigations are conducted promptly and efficiently, allowing speedy actions where necessary.
So, Deputy Speaker, sir, considering the fact that it has been taking quite some time for investigations to reach an end, is there any provision in the procedures to allow victims and families of victims to have information about where the investigations have reached?
The Deputy Speaker, sir, that is the reason I have mentioned I am not happy at all. Survey things were being conducted. That is the reason why we have instituted the different committees have been set up, and I can assure the honourable member this is being done in all transparency so that the complainant will come to know what is being done. He will be called as and when required.
Yes, Robert, you have a question?
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Honourable Minister, you mentioned there has been a withdrawal in a case at the level of this disciplinary committee. Can I know the reason of the withdrawal? Among the number of cases.
There has been one withdrawal.
Yeah.
I'm told, which I have read, that the medical council itself has dropped the case because the case was not brought properly before the council. This is what impression was being given. They have not properly prepared the case.
I'm having one last question on this. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. May I ask the Honourable Minister whether he will consider having retraining courses for those who are sanctioned repeatedly by the Medical Council at the level of his ministry? Thank you.
I'll take note of these suggestions.
The Honourable Third Member for Rosebel.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. PQ B157, please. Thank you.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I would like to thank the Honourable Third Member for Vieux-Rampeau and Rosebel. To be brief, yes. In fact, the primary and secondary schools many of them, most of them, in a deplorable state. And also the physical infrastructure, the hygiene facilities are deplorable. And I wish to inform the House that there are currently 208 government primary schools and 63 state secondary schools. Most of the primary schools date back to some 50 to 70 years, while our secondary schools date back to some 15 to 20 years back. I have to add that my ministry has injected funds to the tune of some 775 million over the last 3 years in the maintenance and upgrading of our school infrastructure. Unfortunately, there has been only an ad hoc management of infrastructure over the recent years where only nominal maintenance has been undertaken. In fact, no infrastructural audit of all buildings has been carried out, as yet to find out the state of the buildings in terms of structural stability and soundness. The ministry has embarked on a primary school renewal project, which was implemented over 3 phases. However, from records available, the program did not bring the intended outcome, and there is need to have an overall review in collaboration with the Ministry of National Infrastructure. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, based on the financial situation of the current financial year, and since most buildings date back to some 50 to 70 years, a few of them might require major upgrading or full revamping. Accordingly, I intend to propose a comprehensive consultancy for an audit of all civil and electrical works required, not only for classrooms, but also for other amenities. For example, washrooms, demonstration rooms in the next budget. The audit will also be extended to cater for the diminishing number of students joining the primary and secondary education sectors so as to have a clearer picture of the actual space requirement. At the same time, one of the terms of reference of the audit would be to propose a segregated action plan ranging from short-term to long-term, extending to 5 years. During this mandate, I intend to ensure that at least 60 to 70% of the infrastructure is brought to acceptable norms, which would satisfy SDG 4, ensuring inclusive and equitable quality education and promoting lifelong learning opportunities for all. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, as regards hygienic facilities, it is noted that occupational safety and health officers posted at my ministry carry out regular site visits in all government primary schools and state secondary schools. It has been reported that there are serious hygienic shortcomings in some schools. However, the lacunas are looked into as and when the issues are reported. It is to be highlighted that my ministry has a contract. My ministry has a contract with Mori Facilities Limited for the daily cleaning of the school premises, including the cleaning of toilets. I am informed that there are 135 technicians responsible for the cleaning of toilets and 435 technicians for yard cleaning. However, numerous complaints have been received pertaining to service delivery. This is taken seriously by my ministry. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I am sure after the audit, my ministry would be in a better position to have a relook in the sector in terms of infrastructure and as well as associated costs, including all HR requirements.
Yes.
Thank you. I thank the Honourable Minister for his reply. Could the Honourable Minister enlighten the House, obviously, in the light of the answers provided by himself, could he enlighten the House as to any concrete remedial measures, if any, taken by himself, by his ministry, since he assumed office, with a view to tackle, to mitigate those problems enumerated by himself? Thank you.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, yes, we have a lot of problems. When I joined this ministry, I went to cabinet and fortunately my colleagues agreed to provide 75,000 rupees for primary and 100,000 rupees for secondary schools, for each, in order to mitigate, in the first instance, the shortcomings. But also, I wish to inform the House that with a view to ascertaining proper implementation of maintenance and upgrading of schools, visits have been carried out in at least some 15 primary and secondary schools by myself and other colleague ministers, junior ministers, and backbenchers. And they reported the matter, and in some cases, we remedied the situation. Subsequent visits will be carried out in order to see to it that our kids benefit from the best infrastructure and hygiene facilities in primary and secondary schools.
You have a question, Honourable Siban? Yes, brief. Direct question.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. Would the Honourable Minister also consider extending this exercise to the MITD educational institutions as well, being given that the students are meant to be treated equally, and some of those schools need urgent attention, in particular the one in Rosebel?
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, yes, MITD institutions fall under the purview of Ministry of Education, and the kids who go to these institutions are our kids, and definitely we should look after them as well.
Okay. The Honourable Third Member for Portino and Mount Island.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. B158, please.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, at the outset, let me make it clear that I'm going to answer a very sensitive question. So I hope we keep it at that level, because we are talking about our kids. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, my ministry has been informed of an unfortunate incident which occurred on 10th March 2025 involving students. I'm hesitating, but I have to take the names of the institutions because I don't want them to be stigmatized afterwards. But the question being there, I will name the schools. Involving students from Terre Rouge State Secondary School and Professor Hassan Rafa State Secondary School. It has been reported that during the incident, the students from Terre Rouge State Secondary School threw stones at Professor Hassan Rafa State Secondary School, which resulted in 2 broken window panes and 1 student, namely Mr. P.E., who sustained an injury under his right eye. The injured student was immediately given first aid and has since made a full recovery and returned to school. Police were called to the scene and conducted an inquiry, which is underway. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, in response to the recurring nature of these incidents, the Director, Zone 1 of my ministry, the Directorate, conducted a survey to assess the infrastructural vulnerabilities and student safety protocols. As a result, several infrastructural upgrades are being recommended, including raising the boundary wall between the 2 secondary schools and installing perforated iron sheets atop the wall to act as a physical deterrent. These measures aim to ensure the safety and security of students of both institutions. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, with a view of preventing similar incidents in the future, the Zone 1 Directorate has also recommended a series of remedial actions. Rectors from both schools have been advised to conduct sensitization sessions to, first, promote proper behavior, 2, encourage positive conduct, and 3, employ restorative practices to resolve conflicts. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, moreover, mediation sessions between students from both secondary schools will be introduced to eliminate hostility and foster mutual respect. This has not been done over the past 10 years. We are going to do, most probably next week. Close monitoring at sensitive points, especially near boundary areas during break and dismissal times, will be intensified. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, collaboration between these 2 schools will be reinforced through joint activities and discussions with the stakeholders, including the Child Development Unit and the Crime Prevention Unit, who will conduct awareness sessions on the legal consequences of vandalism and violent behavior. Regular workshops on conflict resolution, empathy building, and peer mediation will further strengthen positive student engagement. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I also take this opportunity to clarify that my ministry has already taken a firm policy decision regarding Terre Rouge SSS. The school is being progressively phased out and will become an exclusively girls' school. The intake of boys has already ceased, and this transition is ongoing. In the spirit of good neighborhood relationships, I will personally ensure that a meeting is convened shortly to consolidate ties of friendship between these 2 neighboring institutions. The students will be sensitized to view this proximity as an opportunity for enrichment rather than conflict. They will be encouraged to leverage shared infrastructure, promote a culture of respect, and foster a sense of belonging. These schools exist not to be divided by hostility, but to thrive through collaboration and mutual growth. In the future, many joint projects can be developed to transform this shared space into a model of cooperation and unity. Thank you.
The Honourable Second Member for Savannah.
Mr. the Deputy Speaker, sir, B159.
Thank you. I am informed that the plot of land situated at Martiniere Road, Suriname, was initially vested under the Ministry of Local Government on 14 December 1988 and subsequently allocated to the then District Council of Grand Port-Savan for the purpose of operating a waste disposal site. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, following the commissioning of the Morshico sanitary landfill in 1997, the dumping site at Morshico's Martiniere Road was officially closed. Since then, it has been utilized solely as a temporary dump site for the collection and removal of post-cyclonic green waste. This arrangement was made with the agreement of the Solid Waste Management Division of the Ministry of Environment, Solid Waste Management and Climate Change, which is responsible for transporting post-cyclonic waste from the temporary site to the landfill. In accordance with Section 59 of the Local Government Act 2011, as subsequently amended, first, the Permanent Secretary is mandated to formulate policies and strategies. And second, waste minimization and resource recovery. And B, storage, collection, conveyance, and disposal of waste. Second, the Permanent Secretary, in compliance with regulations established by the Minister, is responsible for A, the operation and management of disposal sites and waste management facilities, and B, control of private operators in the field of waste management sector. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the Local Government Act 2011, as subsequently amended, outlines in Section 60 the responsibilities of local authorities with respect to waste management. Specifically, local authorities are required to, first, implement programs and establish mechanisms for waste minimization, storage, collection, and conveyance to designated waste disposal sites or waste management facilities. And second, ensure that waste is placed in appropriate storage receptacle for collection. And third, arrange for regular collection of waste within their jurisdiction and its transfer to disposal sites or waste management facilities as necessary. Following the reallocation of ministerial portfolio after the general election of 2014, the responsibility of solid waste management now falls under the Ministry of Environment, Solid Waste Management and Climate Change. Consequently, it is the responsibility of the Ministry to develop and implement the necessary regulations for the effective operation and management of waste disposal sites in accordance with national policies and environmental standards. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, it is important to highlight that on 13 November 2024, an annual cyclone preparedness meeting was convened at the Solid Waste Management Division of the Ministry of Environment, Solid Waste Management and Climate Change. The meeting was chaired by the Director of the Solid Waste Management Division and was attended by representatives from my ministry, local authorities, and contractors appointed by the Solid Waste Management Division. The discussion focused on the following key issues. First, the use of former dump sites for the reception and temporary storage of cyclonic waste following cyclonic events. Second, the identification of new sites for temporary disposal of cyclonic waste. And third, the revision and updating of contingency plans for the management of cyclonic waste. During the meeting, each local authority provided update on their respective temporary dump sites. The District Council of Savan, in particular, reported that a plot of land at Martiniere Road had been identified as its temporary dump site. It was further agreed that this site would be utilized for the disposal of cyclonic waste in the event of a cyclone, where substantial amount of green waste would likely be generated following its passage. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, The chairperson has instructed that contractors of the transfer stations must accept normal waste, whereas green waste is to be directed to temporary dump sites. At these sites, contractors are responsible for cutting, sorting, and processing the green waste before transporting it to their respective transfer station. I have been informed that following the fire outbreak at the Marshy Coast landfill on 10 December 2024, the scavenging lorries of the District Council of Savan were denied access to the landfill. Consequently, with the agreement of the Solid Waste Management Division, household waste was temporarily deposited at Martiniere Road to ensure continuity of waste disposal service. Upon the reopening of Marshy Coast landfill, all waste at Martiniere Road was completely removed. Furthermore, no dumping signs were installed at the site, and access to Martiniere Road has been permanently restricted with boulders to prevent unauthorized dumping. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, unlike the previous administration, this government is committed to action. We are deeply